I promote my shit first, nigga. Damn.
Right?
I promote my fucking shit first, man.
Oh Lord.
I was like, I'm not gonna go on vacation till I talk about this album, man. Fuck this.
Facts. Boom, boom,
What else is going on? Yo, what's up, everybody in the chat? So, the white savior has been arrested. Ain't it great? Ain't America great again?
boom. He's not a Trump supporter as far as I know.
Hey, you never know. Sometimes you never know what these people. They'll come up as Trump supporters years later, which is not anything wrong with that, but still, just know who you're voting for. But you know what song that's stuck in my head lately?
Mm-hmm.
That Stevie Wonder song, "Fun Day."
Oh yeah.
This is a fun day. Cause I saw an Instagram post like somebody highlighted a Jungle Fever soundtrack. I'm just
Right.
like, yeah, the album's finally getting its recognition. Wow, this is fun day. That's my point. I always thought that sounded like "Lady of My Life" from Michael Jackson, like melody wise.
Right. Yep.
Look at Stevie sampling the King of Pop.
Hey, look at him.
You saw what?
Look at Stevie. Check you out, Stevie.
Shout out to my homegirl Ash.
Shout out
So
to
pretty
Ash.
much, Bad Boys 4 just reached $1 billion in the box office.
Right.
Man, you still have Stephen A. Smith hating talking about he should answer to the black community for what he did to Chris Rock. I'm just like, I'm tired of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And guess who Vlad is interviewing tomorrow?
Cool.
Tony Rock.
Oh Lord.
Right. I'm just like, why? Out of all people, why him? Like, really, nigga? You just fishing for people at this point. He just fishing for people.
Right.
Because after all the motherfucker came out with him, you notice how not a lot of people are going to Vlad like that no more.
Mm-mm.
They go into art of dialogue now.
Lord.
That used to be the Tupac show. Now everyone just comes up there. I'm just like, shit. Okay, I'm about to start in about 5 more minutes. Yo, I never knew Rosa Parks' husband had a car this whole time. That's funny.
Right.
I'm just like, so you mean to tell me this motherfucker let his wife go to the fucking bus, got abused, got sent to prison and shit like that, and this motherfucker had a car this whole fucking time? See, that's why niggas ain't. That's why niggas ain't shit sometimes.
Niggas ain't shit but hoes and tricks.
No, I'm just like, damn, she went through all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
White bus driver spitting on her face and shit. And you mean to tell me this motherfucker had a car this whole fucking time?
Yeah.
Wow. If I was Rosa, I'd be pissed. I'm like, fuck this nigga.
Boom, boom, boom.
It's the audacity.
Right. Facts.
I want to see a good album anniversary. Oh, I got a good album we can talk about as an album anniversary. Okay, I can work with this. Jesus Christ. That mugshot was funny as hell. That nigga looked like he was about to cry, like he did on Punk'd and shit. I'm just like, hey, justice serves. You win some, you lose some. I've never been so happy when a white person getting arrested like this.
I know.
It's like first Puffy got raided now, all this shit. All right. I think I got everything ready. Let's start this shit. What's up, YouTube? How's everyone doing this lovely day? This your boy Reg in the building. I'm a homeboy Try with me.
Yo.
So on this day, on June 18th, the Beatnuts dropped their street level album.
Yes.
You know, technically, this is their first album, but there are some people. Well, technically, it's their first album, but at the same time, it's their second album because when they dropped the Intoxicated Demons EP, that was originally supposed to be an album, but what's his name? I think Fashion went to print was like has some legal issues at that time too, if I'm not mistaken. So they can't really finish it up. So that's why with this album they came out with and everything like that too. They came out with this like a couple months later. You know what I'm saying? To me, this album and Intoxicated Demons are my favorite shit the Beatnuts has ever done. To be real with you guys know I'm not the biggest Beatnuts fan like that. You know what I'm saying? Like Stone Crazy was okay, but that was to me the beginning of the end. I'll do a review on that one day. I know hot topic, unpopular opinion. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying. Yeah, man. With this album right here, it definitely had like a more street vibe and everything like that. So, you know, you have songs like Props Over Here. Love that track. You know what I'm saying? Are You Crazy with Grand Puba?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Straight Jacket. Yeah, You Got Props. Lick the Pussy. Probably my favorite track on this whole album, to be real with you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. And unfortunately, this is the last album to actually have Fashion, who will later go on the alias Al Tariq.
Yeah.
And the two, you know what I'm saying? So,
that's an album to talk about. God Connections.
Yeah, I've seen that album. Believe it or not, I've never heard that album before.
You never heard it?
Never
That
heard it.
was fire.
Like I said, the Beatnuts, it's just like, because the Beatnuts I was raised on was like the Musical Massacre, which I never liked the album.
You never liked that? What?
We did a review on that, and I feel like I never liked it. Never liked it.
I love that album.
I don't understand how niggas go crazy over that album, but they treat this shit like trap, right?
What? They did trap.
Yeah.
They did trap on that.
No, I said they trash, not trap.
They trash? Wow.
Yeah, because there's some Beatnuts fans like all they listen to is Stone Crazy and stuff like that, and then Musical Massacre. They don't listen to the street Beatnuts and shit like that too.
I love that. I love all the albums. I think they started to fall off when Originators came out. When that album came out. Music Massacre was fire. I love that one.
I never.
You know, like that?
No. It was just too mainstream, too polished, man. I know it was late night.
They were still. You still got to put out a radio-friendly song so radio could play it.
I know, but it was just like, damn, it was just like a huge contrast and shit. You know what I'm saying? I get what you're saying. I get it, but still, it's just never fucked with it. I just never fucked with that shit.
Well,
other than that, so the album that we're going to actually talk about today is Talking Heads with the Fee of Music. This album came out August 3rd, 1979. It came out with singles Life During Wartime, I Zimbra, and Cities. The Talking Heads consist of members David Byrne, Jerry Harrison, Tina Weymouth, and Chris Friends. Brian Eno produced this album, also doing background vocals. You also have like other people like Robert Fripp from King Crimson, Gene Wilder, yes, that actor Gene Wilder who played congas in a few songs, which I didn't know until I actually did research on this album. The Sweet Breasts, which I feel like those were like Tina's sisters doing background vocals. So you have a few guest appearances here and there. This is like their third studio album. After the release of more songs about buildings and food, which we talked about that, they were actually slowly getting commercial success, and they actually made, I think, their first television appearance on Wax on American Bandstand, where they did the cover of "Taking Me to the River." And so they pretty much went into this album without actually having a producer and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? I think they wanted to try doing some of the production themselves, and they started recording this album in New York City. And then all of a sudden, Brian Eno came and heard like what he heard and shit like that too, and they want to expand more on like their funkiness, a little bit of disco rhythms here and there and shit like that too. Because this was 19. Wait a minute, hold up. August 3rd, 19. Wasn't that the same day as the Disco Demolition, August 3rd?
I want to say yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow, okay,
That's
interesting.
crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. And so yeah, man. So they were recording this album, and pretty much they wanted to be have like a more cinematic, minimalistic kind of sound and whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the inspiration for this album came from David's experiences on Avenue A and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? And so he wanted to have like more sparse, especially like with the songs that's having one title, like one word titles and shit like that too. Which they weren't the first ones to really do that shit, but still, I mean, they weren't really first ones, but I said there were some of the noteworthy ones. And they didn't want to like rely on singles like they pretty much just wanted to release a full on album that just pretty much just fucked with a lot of people's heads and shit like that too, which is why his album is pretty much like more darker compared to the first. I feel like this might be up to this point their darkest album to date. You know what I'm saying? Even the album cover alone is just like they just said talking heads feel music, this fade to black and shit like that too. Um Actually, it's the album, what the CD looks like. Gotta have the lyrics.
Of course.
It can't be liner notes without lyrics in the booklet.
Right.
Shit. Alright. So this album has about 11 tracks. We're gonna get started with the first track called I Zimbra. Nice way to kick off the album and whatnot too. You actually had Robert Fripp from King Crimson doing the guitar work on this track right here. You know what I'm saying? Robert Fripp is definitely one of the most underrated guitarists I've heard, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? He gave it a more psychedelic, funky kind of vibe and shit like that when it came to the guitar riff. Jerry Harrison actually said this is actually his favorite Talking Heads song, believe it or not. And what I loved about this song was it took inspiration from the Dadaist Hugo Ball poem Gaji Bari Bimba. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they was kind of like chanting it. Like the chanting was what really made this track right here too. You know what I'm saying? Very dope track. Gene Wilder also played congos on this track right here too. Conga, excuse me. So yeah, nice way to kick off the album. Listen to it.
It had like a disco sound to it. I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely had a very strong disco funky kind of sound to it, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
track number 2, Mine. The beat kind of reminds me a little bit of Intelligent Hoodlums, aka Tragedy Gaddafi, with that song from the second album, Shalom Alek, like dan da din 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 dan. It kind of reminds me of that. I always thought Trash sampled that, but I might be wrong on that, you know what I'm saying? But very ill ass song right here, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? With this song right here. I want to be real with you. A lot of concepts on this song, I'm trying to do my best because it was just so minimalistic with some of these lyrics. So bear with me. But I feel like he was talking about somebody and everything like that too. Who pretty much somebody who had the right mind to do some bullshit in their fucking lives and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I love the line where he says, "Drugs won't change you, religion won't change you. What's the matter with you?" On the second verse and stuff like that. So this is another interesting song right here.
Yeah, this was good. I like the beat for this too. Definitely a fire track.
Yeah, definitely a fire track indeed. You know what I'm saying? The drumming was what really got to me about this track right here. Like it
Mm.
definitely had that steady drum bass. At the same time, it sounded like it's like a parade, like the drum parades and shit. You know what I'm saying? All right. Next track is Paper. What did I say about this track? This track was pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? It definitely has like a more paranoid feel to it and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was pretty alright song.
Yeah, it had fast pace, had like a faster pace to it. The beat and
Right.
everything, the guitars in it.
Definitely. All right. Track number 4, Cities. One of my favorite tracks off this album, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? The next couple of tracks, you're gonna hear me say that a lot. But with
Mm.
this track right here, it's pretty much just talking about um finding somewhere where you can actually just be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Just getting away from people and everything like that too. He pretty much had a lot. He's had lots of rich people in Birmingham, a lot of ghosts in a lot of houses. Look over there, dry ass factory, good place to get some thinking done. You know what I'm saying? And it just like with the last album when he had that last song on more buildings, more songs about buildings that he had that country kind of feel to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I kind of feel like concept wise, it kind of fit like that. So this one was a pretty straight song,
Yeah, it was cool. I like the beat for that.
definitely. Track number 5, Life During Wartime. My favorite track on this album, really, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? This is really where they really this is really where they found that right mixture between quirky lyrics and political stance and whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, every time I hear that beat, that dun 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 dun, like one of my favorite beats they've ever done. You know what I'm saying? I think with this track right here, they were talking about pretty much like a post-apocalyptic world, guerrilla warfare, and whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? Very great song. I love the bass from Tina. I love the guitar riff, like a dun 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 dun. Who that was mostly done by fucking David Byrne too. And David Byrne pretty much put out some of his best vocals on this album. He had a line where he says, transmit the message to the receiver. Hope for an answer someday. I got 3 passports, a couple of visas. You don't even know my real name. I'm high on a hillside. The trucks are loaded. Everything's ready to roll. I sleep in the daytime. I work in the nighttime. Might not ever get it home. This ain't no party. This ain't no disco. This ain't no fooling around. Ba-na-dun. This ain't no mud club or CBGB. I ain't got time for it. Oh man, this song was ill as fuck. But
Uh-huh.
the version you have to check out, the Stop Making Sense performance of this song. Oh my god, the way he was dancing on this stage, the way he was dancing and doing the cardio with every. I have to talk about that Stop Making Sense movie, but this is my song right here, Life During Wartime.
Ah, it was alright.
It was all right. It was all right. Let me stop joking with y'all.
I'm not. You know, I'm not a big Talking Heads fan. That's your thing. I'm here.
I know,
I'm
I
here for the top 15 countdown. That's what I'm here for, folks.
I know. All right. That's why I'm gonna rush through this real quick and shit. But yeah, Life During Wartime is a highly recommended track right here. Track number 6, Memories Can't Wait. My second favorite song on this album, probably the heaviest shit they've ever done. Believe it or not, Living Color covered this song. I want to say they covered this on their first album. I want to say because yeah, man, that's the version I grew up with the best. But this version right here is like more heavier and darker. I love David Byrne singing on this one as well too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is a fire ass track,
It was dope.
definitely. All right, track number 7, Air. Another very great song right here. Tina's bass, gave it a more apocalyptic, spacey kind of sound to it. You know what I'm saying? The way they're talking about air is that they're talking about air like they're using it as a way to represent the things that they love, if that makes sense too. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Very, very, very cool song. Love the beat to it. This is another one of my favorites.
Yeah, I like that. I like this beat. This beat was fire.
Got you. Next track, Heaven. Oh, another very dope track right here, man. Like this is another very dope one. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much it's just pretty much describing heaven as like a state of mind and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? Even though some of the lyrics might come off sarcastic, like he's talking about I want to go to a bar, the name of the bar is Heaven, the band in Heaven, they play my favorite song. You know, it just pretty much talking about that state of mind and everything. So I think this song has also been covered by a lot of people too. So this is definitely one of the more notable Brian Eno productions that he's done for Talking Heads.
Yeah, this was dope. I like this track.
Yes. All right. Track number 9, Animals. Very cool song right here. This is another satirical kind of song. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much what I got from Animals, motherfuckers try to use you and use you as a scapegoat whenever they have bad problems. They whenever they cause problems and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. It's kind of crazy too because you know Pink Floyd dropped an album called Animals and stuff like that too, and they kind of use the same. Their version of Animals. That Animals album was based off the Animal Farm book. You know what I'm saying? So this was an interesting song.
Yeah, this is dope. I like it. Um, had a nice beat, nice guitar play on it.
Right. All right. Speaking of guitar, the next song is called Electric Guitar. Um, this one was okay. I mean, this one of my favorites on this album, though. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much just talking about how rock music. He just pretty much saying how rock music is not a real music and stuff like that, and just pretty much
Mhm.
talking about how they like give honest like a lot of the rock and roll acts that came before them and shit like
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying? Which because back in the day, rock and roll when it was known, like when people like Little Richard, Chuck Berry, they called it jungle music. They called it the devil music and shit like that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So just pretty much just saying how people have like different definitions when it comes to rock music that it's not actually like a real kind of music. You know what I'm saying? Because you have your Elvis Presley, you have your Johnny Cochran. You know what I'm saying? So interesting kind of topic right here.
Yeah. It was alright. It was cool.
And the last song on this album is Drugs. Very dope song, very dark song. Again, it's one of those psycho killer s kind of songs. You know what I'm saying? Which they definitely love doing those serial killer s kind of songs and shit like that. So, long story short, the character in the song took some drugs and altered his whole fucking mind and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, he's pretty much just a different mind state. So this was a pretty dope track. I love it.
Yeah, this was dope. I like this. This one was cool.
Yeah. All right. Overall, to me, this is their first great album. To me, this is when they really, really, really got into their groove. Like Talking Head 77 was great. More Song was okay, but this is really where Talking Heads became Talking Heads, in my personal opinion. Like as far as minimalistic production, David Byrne probably gave some of his best lyrical performance on this. You know what I'm saying? Like the funkiness was what really was coming fully abroad with this track right here, with this album right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 5 and everything like that too. And yeah, great album, highly recommended when it comes to Talking Heads. I wouldn't even get mad if niggas want to start off with this album.
Yeah, I like some songs. Mine was dope and Zimbra. Yeah, I like the spooky melody on it. No, it was cool.
Right. Now to the main events. Okay. So we're gonna do our top 15 hip hop albums of 2003. You know what I'm saying? This might be the biggest list we've done in a minute because you usually do top 10, top 7, but 2003 just had banger after banger after banger and whatnot too. So some albums definitely are gonna be on a chopping block for doing reviews and shit like that very soon. So just want to throw that out there. Without further ado, let's get started. My number 15. Ooh, I gotta go with an album that I really wasn't expecting to put this album on this list, but you know what? It's number 15. I'm gonna go with Lil Kim's La Bella Mafia as my number 15.
A good comeback album, bro.
Yes, a good comeback album.
Yeah,
Not great, good.
not good.
And yeah. So this album came out 3 years after her worst album, Notorious K.I.M. Yes, I said that's the worst album. Naked
Yeah,
Truth is up there, but Naked Truth got some shit I like. I'm gonna be real with you about that. But this came out. This is the to me the true sequel of hardcore. You know what I'm saying? But she actually went more artistic with this album too. You know what I'm saying? Like she definitely experimented with this album. My favorite track, Magic Stick with 50 Cent. Yo, that is one of the illest, one of 50's best guest appearances ever.
yeah.
Then you got Hold It Down with Havoc. That was pretty good too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it did have some shit here and there. Like I didn't care for Can't Fuck a Queen Bee, if I'm not mistaken. Um, the Beehive, I could have done without that one, but I feel like for a Kim album, this was a good comeback for her. You know what I'm saying? To me, her last good album to me, because anything after that, I was not really feeling.
Facts. Definitely. 15 for me. We talked about this album a couple weeks ago. State Property, Chain Gang, second
Mm,
album from this collective of great Philly MCs, Freeway and Beans, Petey Crack, the Young Gunners, Oskino and Sparks, and it definitely killed this. I think I love this more than the first one. I think the production was harder.
you crazy.
They included Petey Crack on this album, and he brought like a different, swagger to this collective, and you had joints like I Can See Clearly. Love that joint. When you hear that with ODB, rest in peace. Love that song. Um, you had Can't Stop, Won't Stop with the Young Gunners. Just a phenomenal album.
Definitely. I'm more of a fan of part one, but you know
I
what?
love Part One. Part One was
Yeah,
recent.
I'm not mad about that. Number 14 is Jedi Mind Tricks with Visions of Gandhi.
Mm. I was just bumping that today, actually.
Yeah. To me, their last good album to me.
Wow.
Yeah. Hot take. I'm not really been a Jedi Mind Tricks fan like that. I like the first album, not Violent by Design, which a lot of people want to say. The
Uh-huh.
one with the psycho long ass title,
Right.
shit like that. Violent by Design was great too. I love that album.
Uh-huh.
But to me, this one was like a step down from those two, but it was still good in its own right. They went for a more orchestral kind of sound with this one, like more string samples with this one.
Right.
So it was like Animal Rap or Coogee Rap. Yo,
Mm.
fire.
Mm.
Uh, Blood In and Blood Out was pretty good.
That's my joint.
Yeah. I even like the intro track to this
Yeah,
track.
intro joint. Yeah.
Yeah, man. We definitely gotta do a review on this album because
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, it's like one of those albums that is good, but at the
Mhm.
same time, it's just like something's missing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Number 14 for me is Little Brother, The Listening. Their first album. Definitely a banger. Ninth Wonder on the productions early. Little Brother before I feel like they really got noticed with the Minstrel Show.
yeah,
But this album now is getting a lot of love, from fans and you had joints like For You, that was fire. Speed. I think they did like a mini. I want to say they did like a little mini movie for that song called Speed. Whatever You Say was fire. Um, Love Joint Revisited. That was dope. Just a lot of banging on tracks on this album, man. You know.
Definitely. Yeah, man. Definitely gotta talk about that album too.
Did you?
Did I talk? I think I talked about the Minstrel Show. I gotta double check.
Okay.
I know I did the recent album and stuff like that too, but I gotta double check. All right, my number 13. This might be a surprise to some people. It is Joel Santana for Me to You.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
y'all know I'm not the biggest Joel's fan like that. I feel like dude had potential, but he just made like a lot of bad decisions. But
Oh Lord.
I just needed some. I just needed something to be some filler. But
Yeah.
this one was pretty straight. I like this one. This might be my favorite Joel's album. I know people like the second one, which that was cool too, but this one just had more fire track. Like One Day I Smile.
Oh yeah.
Love that one.
One day.
How I Feel. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, what else? What's that one track? Santana's Town.
Yes.
That was okay. That was okay. It was pretty straight. Raindrops and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? So, I know a lot of those tracks appeared on like the mixtapes and shit like that too.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But hey, it's still a great ass. What I call it great? I'll say it's still a good debut out. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he had more to come if he just stuck to his craft and shit. But
Right.
you know these niggas, man. It's like
Oh yeah.
they have all this talent. They want to do stupid shit with their talent, man.
Yes. That to me, I love that album more than the second one though. Second one was
Same.
dope, but I love the first one because the first
Same.
one it was like in the middle of the Dipset takeover for them. They wasn't playing. You know, they were hungry, and I was like, yeah, like this. I don't like the album cover. That shit that he was wearing on the album cover sucks, but the album itself is great. All right, 13 for me is Gangstar with the Owners.
Nice.
Underrated Gangstar album. It gets no type of love. I don't understand why, because they were still in their prime.
I
You know, at
agree.
this point, and you know some of their best joints on here. They're Right Where You Stand with Jadakiss. Come on, everybody was bumping that. That was fire. The Skills joint. Same Team No Games. Love that joint. I think the NYGs was on that. You had Fat Joe was on here. MOP. Snoop Dogg. Just phenomenal album. What's the other joint that they came up with? That right place, wrong time, or some shit.
Yeah, love that
Yeah,
track.
that was a single also. Love this album.
Yeah, I'm gonna say more something about that. I have a feeling I know why that album was promoted well, but I'm gonna wait till I get to where I'm talking about that
Yeah.
album.
Sam was good.
What's up, Sam? See, now people want to start coming when we talk the hip hop shit.
They don't want to hear about talking heads.
You'll never know. You never know. Plus, we doing an early review anyway. Niggas aren't used to doing for me doing early
They
reviews.
gotta get used to it. Shit.
Oh well. I can always stay up 2 a.m. Everybody, I can. I have to sleep too.
Right.
Number 12. We had shit. Excuse me. I gotta go with motherfucking Freeway with Philadelphia Freeway.
Ooh.
Yeah. We recently done a review on this album. You know what I'm saying? This was a fire ass album. I would even say this is a classic album,
Mhm.
in my personal opinion and shit like that. One of the best Rockefeller albums ever. You know what I'm saying? Even though what we do is wrong. I mean, come on. One of the best Rockefeller collabs I've ever heard, you know. It's a shame Beans, Freeway, and Jay never actually came out with an album, but hell, Beans, Jay, and Scarface, but that's another story.
That was supposed to happen.
Yeah. You know, Beanie was also always getting into some shit, but Flip Side was pretty cool. Life with Beanie was dope as fuck too. All My Life with Nate Dogg. You know what I'm saying? So not a bad album. I love this one.
Number 12 for me is Ja Rule, Blood in My Eye. Love this album. The mixtape had like a mixtape sound to it. You know, he was on his revenge mode after 50, stole his damn fans and ran off with. They became genuine fans, and Ja was like, "I'm battling this nigga. I ain't running." And he came back hard with Clap Back, and they added, Fatal Hussein, rest in peace, from the Outlaws. He was all over this album, and I love the production. They did a freestyle even to the Mob Deep. What was it? The Learning beat
Yeah.
that Fatal Hussein definitely shined on this project. I know Irv Gotti was trying to sign him at that time to Murder Inc. It didn't happen, but this album is fire. I love the album cover as well. Just phenomenal. Probably his last great effort. Cause I didn't like anything after this. I didn't like the All You Early album
Same.
and Pain is Love too, all that shit.
I have a love-hate relationship with that album.
Why? Well, we know you stopped liking him after what? The second album?
Here's the thing. I like, believe it or not, that's actually my third favorite Ja Rule album.
Okay.
But it's just like, this is the Ja I wanted to hear. He had to wait till everybody was dissing him to do all this shit. It's like, he was wasting all them time with them stupid ass love songs and all that shit too. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like he should have dropped this after Pain is Love, in my personal opinion. But he's like, he wait till 50 to get at his ass to really start rapping. But
Right.
I feel like it's just best since the Rule 336 album. And you're right, it's definitely his last great album and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? So even though this album is an honorable mention, I left it as an honorable mention and shit, but I just have a love-hate relationship with it. But good point. Good choice.
Yes.
All right. Number 12. Wait, excuse me. Number 11, excuse me. This is from a hip-hop group I don't feel like I've ever talked about on this channel. It's from the Cunning Linguist.
Lingus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Southern Underground.
Mm.
Fire ass album.
Yeah.
It kills me I have not talked about this album yet. Because I actually wanted to get this out of my collection, but all this shit's out of print and it's expensive as fuck.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mind you, these cats were from Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? Lexington, Kentucky, to be real with you. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I know about Kentucky is Kentucky Fried Chicken. But they had this joint with Master Ace called Seasons. Oh, one of my favorite hip hop songs of that year. They were talking about how certain hip hop was like seasons and shit like that. And they used the seasons changed, mad things rearranged. The how many mics sample from Fuji's and shit like that too. Yes.
Yeah.
Doing all right. Rain falling down. You know what I'm saying? I definitely need to talk more about these cats and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? Because they only dropped like how many albums?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 6 albums, a couple mixtapes. So yeah, we can definitely talk about them at some point. But I feel like Southern Underground is definitely an underground staple.
So, number 11, I got Mobb Deep, Free Agents mixtape. To me, it's their best mixtape, and this is at the time when they left Job Records. They were free agents before they signed with G Unit, and they were dropping some of the best mixtapes ever. Starting with this mixtape, they had the Pledge of Allegiance mixtape. They had a whole West Coast mixtape where they were rapping over classic West Coast beats.
Yeah.
What's the other mixtape? There's another mixtape that they did that was fire, but they were in a mixtape bag at this time. And man, the shit that they dropped on this is timeless. You know, they have a joint called Favorite Rapper, which was phenomenal. They have a joint called Double Shots. It was a banger. It's Over. Solidified.
Yeah.
Like classic, Havoc on the beats. Some of it was best production. Alchemist did a track on there. And they killed this was on the Koch Records, Land Speed Records. I went to Harlem to get this because it wasn't even out all the boroughs yet. I had to go to Harlem to get this joint, and I was not disappointed. It's my favorite Mobb Deep mixtape ever. Rest in peace, The Prodigy.
Yeah, rest in peace to Prodigy, indeed. Yeah, I remember you telling me you had to go to Harlem for that shit. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
because
That
it
was
wasn't
crazy.
it wasn't out yet in the other boroughs. Like, and it was like the mixtape DJs were playing different songs for me. They even did like updated versions of like Shook Ones and Survival of the Fittest. You know what I'm saying? Like with like new lyrics. But
Yeah,
I had to go to Harlem because Harlem was the only place that had it for whatever reason. Like nobody else had it. But it was great though. Like uh, it came with a bonus CD also because it had like other stuff like Big Noid and Infamous Mob on the bonus on this.
yeah, definitely. Even though that is a mixtape, I'll still let it
Yeah,
slide because
yeah, it
that
came out on it.
yeah,
It's a
I was,
mixtape album.
yeah,
It's all new music. All new music.
that part I would agree with.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so now we're in the top 10. All right, my number 10 is MF Doom, aka King Ghidra. Take Me to Your Leader. We did an album anniversary of this yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not going to spend too much time. However, what I'm going to say is, '03 was definitely one of MF Doom's best years because he had another album that's going to come up later on, which I'll talk about that. But this one, very fire. I love this album, like Crazy World, The Final Hour. Yeah, we did a whole album anniversary this past Sunday, so y'all check that out.
Alright. My next release is my next one is the Neptunes with the Clones compilation.
Oh God,
Love this album. Fire joints on here. You had like some of the biggest artists on this album. Busta Rhymes with um Light Chats on Fire. That was a single. You had Snoop Dogg on here with It Blows My Mind. That was a big single. You had the Clips and the Re-Up Gang with the Hot Damn remix with Pharrell. Khalees on here with Popular Thug. That's she was still with Nas. Nas was on that track with her. ODB was on here with Pop Shit. That's the Pharrell version. There's another version that Premier did, the remix.
I, I prefer the Primo version.
Like yeah, the Primo one was better.
Yeah,
You had Super Cat, the dancehall artist. Yes, that Super Cat with Jadakiss.
really.
Yes, because he Super Cat. I think Pharrell was trying to sign him to Star Trek, but he never came out with the
Oh
album.
God, thank
It
God for
never
that.
came out.
Oh,
It never came out. But he
because
have a
that's
song on here with Jadakiss.
I don't,
Um,
I don't want to hear Super Cat of that and doing
it was
dropping like
dope.
it's hot next.
Nah, it ain't like that. It was a fire track. You had Nelly was on here.
My
Ludacris.
boy.
I like the Ludacris joint with I-20. It wasn't us. That was fire. Um, there's another Clips joint on here. Blaze of Glory with Pharrell and Ab Lava. Just a lot of big names. Family. That was one of the artists. He was on this album. What was the rock group? No, Spy Mob. I never listened to any of their shit, but I think that was like a rock group that had signed to Star Trek. But I thought it was a dope compilation. Oh, you also had the big hit with Jay-Z fronting was on here as well. I forgot about that.
Love that.
Um, this came with like a limited DVD. Like the DVD has like the making of the album, and it had like I think the fronting video was on here. So this is like the limited edition.
Yeah, Frontin' might be the only track I like from that album as of
That
now.
was that was the first single, fronting. I forgot about that one.
I do want to talk about Pharrell's first album though. That's how I do want
I
to talk
thought you
about
was a Neptunes fan,
it. No, 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 no. I always liked that album.
but you
I
don't like the
always.
Neptunes. Who do you think produced it?
We'll talk. We'll talk about. We'll do. I'll go in a full depth
Mm,
when we do that album. I'm gonna go into full depth about it
okay.
because it's not that I hate the Neptunes. I don't want people to think that. I do feel like they're very talented. It's just that style of beats I've just never really been accustomed to like that. There's a
Mm,
certain Neptune sound I like.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but when they do something, it's like with Timbaland. When they do shit with certain artists, like if Neptune do shit with Snoop, Okay, I can get down with that. Neptune do shit with Jay, depending on what song it is. You know what I'm saying? But Neptune's with Khalees, 9 times out of 10, that's mostly fire. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just like with Timbaland, Timbaland when he was on his bag, doing shit with some artists, but then with some other artists, it's just that the chemistry isn't there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And my thing is this: if you're a producer and you're working with a new artist and shit like that, don't just give them some shit that you will give somebody else. You know what I'm saying? You gotta actually like test the chemistry out. That's why I wish producers and artists these days, I wish they would actually still be in the studio because sometimes with this day of social media, niggas just be emailing tracks and recording in separate locations, which niggas done that shit back in the day. But at least
Right.
the motherfuckers actually still came to the studio and heard this shit. Or they
Mm-hmm.
still talked on the phone and be like, yeah, do it like that, do it like this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Facts.
But this day and age, yeah, motherfucker that done songs for 5 years, they never met each other 5 years later.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
I don't understand that
They're just
shit.
now meeting each other and shit.
Right? It's like it's kind of weird though. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Talking about
That's
why I never
that's
met.
that's another thing that's missing. Like I seen Common and Pete Rock talk about that. Like niggas don't do songs together in the studio
Oh,
no more.
speaking of Common and P Rock, I finally heard those new songs.
Yo,
Fire. I love Dreaming. Dreaming is my joint.
Dreaming is fire. Yeah, I like that. I think
Yeah,
that's the next single.
yeah. But yeah, you're right about that, Try.
You
You're
know,
definitely right
yeah,
about
they
that.
don't. It's like if you do a collab album, y'all should actually be together in the studio.
Exactly.
They're doing a collab album by emailing each other tracks. That's whack.
And then it's like they rush. It's like they rush the album and stuff like that. Let's just say like in the COVID, like
Right,
COVID-19,
right.
a lot of motherfuckers were rushing some of them albums. Let's keep it
Yeah,
real, because they were trying so hard to come out with a hit because they thought the world was gonna fucking end. They want to at least come out with a banger before we all died. Let's keep it real.
mhm.
But hell, wasn't RZA supposed to come out with a collab album with somebody like
It
Diamond D or
was it
something?
was Nas. They said supposed to be Nas.
Man, I knew that shit was gonna come up.
Like he ain't coming out. RZA been done. He ain't coming out with shit.
Exactly, Q. Exactly. Anyway, album number 9. I gotta go with Ti with trap music. You know what I'm saying? Now, depending on who you ask, trap music started with this album. Depending on who you ask, me personally, I've always felt trap music started with UGK's first album, Too Hard to Swallow. You know what I'm saying? That's me personally, but niggas weren't really ready for that particular sound yet. But yeah, man, Ti trap music, fire album. This is when he pretty much came out 1-2 years after the I'm Serious album, which that's the album I definitely got to be listening to. I know that was on Crypt Keeper Collab's label and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? So he found the Grand Hustle, had to deal with Atlantic Records. The rest is history. You know what I'm saying? Be Easy. Hi, let's get away. I love that track. 24s, King of the South, Ti versus TIP. I mean, dare I say this album's a fucking classic. I don't give a fuck. Like Ti from '03 to '08, that was a good ass run. Trap music, Urban Legend, King, Ti versus TIP, Paper
Right.
Trail. I would even throw in the Grand Hustle compilation album if I'm not mistaken. I know they came out with a compilation album. I just forgot what year it came out. But yeah, Ti was definitely on his bag and shit. It's like after Paper Trail, I don't know what the fuck happened.
Yeah. I got where we at? Number 9, I got Outkast with Speaker Box Love Below. And I think it was a phenomenal, brilliant marketing idea by LaFace to put both solo albums from both members of the group in one. And people got their favorites. That some loved Love Below, some love Speaker Box. I think Love Below is the better album. Andre did his thing on that, all produced by Andre, all written by Andre. It was great. Speaker Box is dope. It has some points that I liked on there. It's not even my favorite Big Boy album, but he definitely did his thing on there, and they both did their thing, and it's not an Outkast album, contrary to. I've had debates with ignorant people that think it's not an Outkast album. It was packaged
As
together
I
as an Outkast album, but it's not an Outkast album. They only did like one track together on both albums. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is the brilliance of LaFace Records. So packaging two solo albums together, but it's not an Outkast album.
Right.
But I think it was phenomenal. They won best Grammy album for this project, and it was great. This is like the last good Outkast album we got. Like last good Outkast related project we got from them, because Idlewild was not great.
That review was funny as hell. We did it. I don't know.
That movie wasn't great either.
You know, I actually want to do a trash movie on that. Is it crazy?
Of course you do. Well, because this is what you do. This is what you do. This is how you get your views. You talking about shit.
We can't always talk about good shit. We gotta. It's not just always talking about trash. It's just
I love to talk about good shit because it brings back good memories. Why would I want to talk about shit that I don't like?
See, that's the thing, Try. It's like, when we do these reviews and shit like that, we can't always just say, "Oh, we like this. I like this. I like it." You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we gotta dig deep and pick people's heads and shit. Give controversial things and shit like that too. Because
you just want artists mad at you. That's
no. It's not about that. It's just
let's get Andre mad at Reg now.
It's literally therapeutic for me. It's therapeutic. Because I'm not the only one that says Idlewild is trash. I'm not the only one that says the movie is trash. But no one really done an Idlewild review like that, if I'm not mistaken.
I never seen it. But I mean, why would they?
Shit.
Why would they?
All right. Now, album number 8, man, we were just talking about this album not too long ago. J Dilla and Madlib with Champion Sound. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite J Dilla projects, one of my favorite Madlib projects and shit. This is the Madlib I grew up on. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, I love Madlib, still dope. I still put him on the same class with like Alchemist and Muggs, who say consistent. But it's like niggas started noticing him once he did shit with Freddie Gibbs. Let's keep it real.
Right.
And stuff like that too, you know what I'm saying? Like, where's my love for Quasimodo, the Unseen? But that's besides the point.
Or Mad.
Oh, yes. Didn't he also do shit with Lupac, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
Bingo. Oh, excuse me. If it's not that Feta Gibb, it's Mad Villainy, which again, Mad Villainy, classic album. That's like his breakthrough to a lot of people. And stuff, but I'm not gonna act like that's the only shit that he came out with. All right. But Champion Sound, very dope album, very cinematic and whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? I love songs like React, Raw Shit. Raw Shit had one of Tyler's best performances, in my opinion. Raw Addict, No Games, Fire album.
Yes. All right, number 8 for me is Juelz Santana, From Me to You. Love this album from his first album. To me, Juelz, like I said it when we did the Dipset review, that he was the MVP for that album. That album would not be classic without Juelz Santana, and he definitely carried that momentum into his first album. And a lot of great joints. Monster Music was fire. Down, Santana's Town was fire. Wherever I go, Squale. Love the production on here. You had T.I. Even T.I. was on the track on here. He killed it with T.I. on Now What. He had the whole Dipset on here. Just phenomenal first album.
Definitely. All right. Number 7, Immortal Technique Revolution Volume 2.
Nice.
Man. What can I say about this album right here? I'm just going to say 4 words. Dance with the Devil. Wait a minute. Was that on this album? No, I think that was on Volume. Oops. I made a mistake. That was on Volume 1. Excuse me. But still, Volume 2 had banging after banging after banging. But Immortal Technique is definitely one of those controversial MCs that can be polarizing to a lot of people. It's like he's underground, but he's like in a different breed of underground, if that makes sense. Like, this is definitely a breath of fresh air from 03, in my personal opinion, because, it was definitely a political hip-hop album. Especially during the Bush administration. Harlem Streets, A Point of No Return, Crossing the Boundary. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was so close to getting this album at one point, but it got sold. It was on vinyl, but they overpriced that shit. It was like $70. I'm just like, y'all are tripping. It's like you better watch yourself. But yeah, that's a motor technique.
Yeah. I got number 7, Ludacris, Chicken and Beer.
Dope.
A classic album, one of my favorites. Love this album. You know, I'm a huge Ludacris fan. For his early shit was great. You know, when he had that diss to the CNN dude, load out your ass.
Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly, that nigga. Stand Up, Kanye West, that was fire. Hard Times with Carl Thomas, love that track. Diamond in the Back, Pussy Poppin'. Eric Sermon produced Hip Hop Quotables. Like, this is a masterpiece of an album. Only thing I didn't care for was the Splash Waterfalls joint. I didn't care for that.
Oh, you are bugging.
I didn't like that
What?
sample. No, didn't like it.
Wait, so you like the Tony version better?
Yeah, what you mean? It's Tony.
Same. Okay.
I didn't like the way he sampled it though. And there's like a different version on the video mix than the album.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe you should put the video mix on the album instead. But this is a phenomenal album though, and I love the album cover with him, like, you know, grabbing the girl's leg, and you got the chicken on the table, and this is just classic Luda right here. Like this, I wish he would get back to this type of Luda. I don't know what the hell he's doing there. He's still doing Fast and Furious shit.
Right, like, come on, man. he did drop a freestyle.
Yeah, but he's always been a great freestyle. I'm talking about his albums though. Like, when the last time he put out a great album?
To me, his last great was Theater of the Mind. But I know you don't like that album. I know.
Didn't like it.
You crazy.
I like it. Nope.
To me, that album is his last. That to me is dope. That and Release Therapy are underrated as hell.
Release Therapy was alright. That was cool.
But yeah, of course, y'all want cornrows, Ludacris.
Y'all
want the Ludacris.
You your fucking afro. We want cornrow Luda.
So I guess Ludacris. So if Eminem's gonna come up with the death of Slim Shady, Ludacris is gonna come up with the rebirth of cornrows in his next album, right?
Hey, do what you gotta do.
Isn't Busta going out his dreads now again?
Yeah. Do what you gotta do. Busta need to go out his dreads. It's
like y'all
in his damn head.
Shit, but to this day, give me Chicken and Beer, give me Red Light District. Hell, give me Release There, give me everything up to 08 any day. All right. My number 6. Niggas might get mad it's not in my top 5, but it's Outkast, Speaking Box, and Love Below. You know what I'm saying? Now I know what you guys are saying. How is this not in your top 5? Because it's a half hip hop, half R&B album. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? But like Tri said, it was marketed as an Outkast album because LaFace Records, Arista Records, smart ass, like Keeper Clive, smart ass nigga. That's one thing I'm always gonna say. And as to which album I like the most, back in the day, I used to say the Big Boy album. But I think I like these equally. I feel like they had the equal good shit, but then the equal shit I didn't really care for too much. Like for the Big Boy album, I love The Way You Move. I love Bust with Killer Mike. That gives me Def Jam Vendetta memories.
Yeah, that was dope.
Flip Flop Rock with Killer and Jay. That was pretty good too, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The Outkast album, the Andre album is where if I just want to vibe out, I listen to that one. Like Happy Valentine's Day, Prototype, his best song as a solo artist ever. She Lives in My Lap.
Yeah.
Hey Ya, Roses. You know what I'm saying? The only song he was really rapping on is A Life in the Day of Benjamin Andre.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, people want to say this is what happened when you date Erykah Badu, but I'm just like, Andre was always like this. Let's be real. He was always like this. He was always this kind of guy. But this is my number 6.
Dope. Number 6 is Freeway, Philadelphia Freeway. Classic album, gritty production, Just Blaze and Bink, Kanye West just killed it on with the beats. You got joints like What We Do and Flip Side, and Line 'Em Up. Line 'Em Up was like the first teaser from this album. All My Life with Nate Dogg, rest in peace to him. Jump Off the Line with Faith. You and Have a Lie on here on the bonus track. You Got Me. I think You Got Me was on Charm Bracelet, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
That was that's one of the bonus tracks on here, but underrated debut, phenomenal album. Still to me, Freeway's best album. And this is like prime state property right here, prime Rockefeller. And it was great.
Definitely dope. All right. Next track. Excuse me. Next album. Number 5. Diplomatic Immunity. Dipset. Whew, where do I even begin with this album?
Right?
This is just fire. This is just a classic, hands down. I don't understand why we talk about double albums in hip hop and no one mentions Diplomatic Immunity. I don't understand.
To them, it's all about Wu or Biggie
And Pop.
and Pop.
You know what I'm saying? This right here is one of my all-time favorite double albums in hip hop. Who I am, real niggas. I got a hot take.
What's your
I
take?
feel like they use that OJ sample way better than AZ's More Money, More Homicide. I'm gonna be real with you about that.
That was fire. Real niggas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love More Money, and that's More Money is actually my favorite on Do or Die too, ironically.
Mm-hmm.
Real Niggas is actually my favorite on this album.
Right.
But the way how AZ used that Cry Together sample, it pretty much was like the same. He just slowed it down, but Dipset kind of sped it up, but not speed up too much where they add like chipmunks. So it's like a low rider kind of shit. And them drums, like DR period, man. We might have to do a top DR period beats at some point.
Yeah. For real.
Like we have to get a lot.
We can do a beat battle in a minute.
Because copyright's been on my ass. So that is going to be on an indefinite hiatus, but we can definitely do like a top 10 beats and shit like that. But we only going to do a top 10 beats on a producer that we haven't done beat battles with.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So the beat battles are still going to come, but I just want to get some of this copyright shit out my ass. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but Diplomatic Immunity, fire album, in my opinion, and shit like that too. I say 2002 to 2006-ish is what I call the golden era of Dipset, in my personal opinion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Even though I'm not the biggest Dipset fan like that, I do have to give respect when respect's due.
They were killing it, man.
Yeah.
Still doing their thing. All right, 5 for me is T.I. with Trap Music. Classic, one of the best T.I. albums. I always say his first 6 is his best shit ever. Anything after Paper Trail is trash for me. But this album was fire. You had Rubber Band Man and Be Easy and Doing My Time was great. 24s, that was on the Need for Speed Underground soundtrack. What else he had on here that I love? Bezel was my joint on here too. I Still Love You, man. Like just phenomenal production. DJ Toomp and Kanye was on this, and Jazzy Faye, and classic T.I. right here.
I agree.
I'll say, he need to get locked up again. Give us another classic.
He needs to get locked up with Jazz.
When he's out free, he don't drop shit. Get locked up again.
I mean, he spent half his career.
Whose fault is that? That's his fault. Shit, at least he was dropping classics when he was locked up.
Yeah.
Shit, if they ever let R. Kelly,
No Mercy album,
I guarantee if R. Kelly ever get free, he got classics coming. Because I know he was writing in prison.
At this point, I don't think we're gonna get an R. Kelly album pretty soon.
Hey, you never know. If he ever get free, just know he got classics coming.
Next album, my number 4. We at number 4. Ludacris is chicken and beer. You know what I'm saying? To me, I like this a more better than word of mouth. Even though I love word of mouth.
Yep.
This is pretty much Ludacris at his best, in my personal opinion. I mean, the flows he was doing on this project was unbelievable. Just from the Simplified intro alone, you already know what you're gonna get into. Diamonds in the Back, one of my favorite 3 6 Mafia beats. P poppin', hip hop quotables. Like this nigga, it's kind of crazy though. I want to go a little slightly off topic because I was watching an interview with Big Gip,
Oh,
the Goody Mob from Art of Dialogue. He was talking about Ludacris. He was saying how he felt like early in Ludacris's career, he tried to be New York's friend, and I particularly hated that when he didn't. I hated when he said about that shit.
trying to be New York's friend.
Yeah, because he definitely felt like the earlier Ludacris albums had more of an East Coast based, which is just that bias, that coastal bias. I just can't fucking stand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because you can always tell he was very influenced by Redman
Right.
and like Biz Markie. But just because, I forgot, because you're a Southern rapper, you gotta always have like Manny Fresh, and
Right.
you gotta always have Beats by the Pound. You gotta always. And I'm gonna be real with you. I'd rather listen to them latter Ludacris album than them latter Goody Mob albums.
When I saw him, when I saw him on the Outkast tour, he did his thing, and New York always showed him love. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we appreciate good music no matter where it's from. We didn't care if he was from the South or not.
Exactly, it's stupid. Mind you, if I'm not mistaken, he DJ'd in New York for a period of time.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's why I can't. They so coastal bullshit. Like, oh well, you over here trying to be New York's friend. Like, what the fuck does that mean, man? Like,
nothing. It doesn't mean nothing.
Like, come on, dude, y'all asses only had like 2 classics and shit like that. Let's call it spade a spade. Like, I like Goody Mob, but I'm not gonna put Goody Mob on the same level as Outkast. Like,
no,
I was like, but
yeah,
man. But yeah, Chicken and Beer. It's probably my favorite Ludacris album to date, and everything like that. To like, oh yeah, I forgot Blow It Out. Come on, man, you gotta love Blow It Out. And Splash Waterfalls. I always like the OG version more, you know what I'm saying, than the remix version. But I love the remix version and stuff like that. But like you said, I like the way he sampled that because whatever you want to me, it's a hard. I would never sample that one. I would never sample whatever you want and stuff like that. Because the beat itself, if like that dun dun dun, it's pretty much repetitive throughout the song and stuff like that too. So if you do anything to it, it's not going to be like mind blowing, like if that makes sense. But now if you did Anniversary, then we might be on to something. I'm not going to give niggas the influencer sample.
Yeah, don't let them do that.
Yeah,
might hear Future do that shit next week.
Oh no! Please. I know Future. Like you're gonna sound like a broke ass Tony Braxton singing and shit.
Yeah. All right, number 4, I got Jay-Z, the Black Album. Phenomenal album. My last favorite Jay-Z album. You know, we had joints like Dirt Off Your Shoulder.
Trash.
Timberland joint. I know you didn't like that. That's why I said it first. And you had 99 Problems, Rick Rubin, and Change Clothes. You know, Pharrell, The Lord, another Neptune's joint. Threats, the 9th one to joint. So many bangers on here. Been on the world tour. You had the documentary for the album. Just a great masterpiece. You know, Jay still in his prime, still doing it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I wish we had gotten the original Black Album with, you know, Premier and Dre and, you know, there was like other producers that's supposed to be on that album, but even without Primo, even without Dr. Dre, it still was a great album. I still like the Quick song. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Oh, I'll get into that.
Quick song is fire. I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. What are y'all hearing? Clean your ears out. That quick joint is fire. Jay-Z is just a legend. He could rhyme over any beat, no matter who it's from or where it's from. And I think it was Five Night classic.
I'll get my thoughts into all that shit you talked about. My number three is Gangstar the Owners. Now this is a personal favorite of mine when it comes to Gangstar. You know what I'm saying? Um, when it comes to this album, it's definitely an album that 2003 needed at that time,
Right.
especially when people said that hip hop at this time was getting more materialistic,
Mm-hmm.
saying how hip hop was not what it used to be. Gangstar pretty much came out with an album that it's like, in my personal opinion, sounds like a direct sequel of Moment of Truth, my favorite Gangstar album, and everything like that too. You know, like Skills. Oh my, I love Skills. Right where you
Yep.
stand.
Love that shit.
My favorite track, Deadly Habits. Dun 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 dun. dun. I mean, whew, In This Life with Snoop. Like, oh my.
It's fine.
I put this album on the same, like, this is just a classic album. I don't give a fuck what no one say,
Mhm.
because there are some cats that say, oh, this album was okay. Like, they try to give it a dose with the technique treatment, but it's a little different though, because the reason why they say they don't love this album and whatnot to us, because they felt like, it was pretty much no elevation and no advancement. They sound like it could have been for Moment of Truth. That's why they say it. You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with like the lyrics and everything, because for one, some of my favorite Primo beats come from this album.
Right.
So, dare I say, this might be my favorite produced album he did with Gangstar. Dare I say?
Mm.
Yeah.
How dare you?
No. The reason why I say, because it's like it aged like fine wine. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
it pretty much has the production that pretty much borrowed elements from all the other Gangstar albums,
Right.
but they did it with a 2003 twist. It's like, I don't know if they really thought this was like their final album together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know that they had some issues and whatnot too. Cause I know that they actually didn't announce that they broke up until like maybe '06, because that was when, unfortunately, he was working with the producer. I don't want to name his name,
Mhm.
but at the same time too, I definitely feel like this was them at their element. This is the traditional hip hop album, and yes, I'm still going to talk about the One of the Best Yet album that came out in 2019. I'm still trying to see if I can actually get a copy of that. So stay tuned on that.
Is it out of print?
It should not be out of print, but I would not be surprised if it is. To be real with you, because I know that they said they were trying to come out with another one, and he was still trying to talk to the producer. I don't want to name his name
Mm.
and everything like that too. But there's been some, of course, there's been some issues with that, which is sad to say. Yeah.
Yep. Number 3 for me is G Unit Beg for Mercy.
Mm.
Classic. First G Unit album. You know, having Yayo was still locked up, so you have 50 and Banks and Young Buck added to the crew, and he did his thing on here. Stunt 101, one of my favorites. Eye for an Eye. My buddy Footprints. G'd Up. Just phenomenal G Unit album. Second one was okay. There's some bangers on the second one, but it didn't hit like the first one. This one is like the best album. Production by Dr. Dre and a whole bunch of other producers on here. But yeah, this is my joint right here.
Definitely. All right, so my number 2 is Jay-Z's The Black Album. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with this album.
Boy.
Let me rephrase that. Let me not say hate. I have a dislike with this album.
Okay.
I'm gonna start off with the like. I feel like, him saying this is his final album and everything like that. Because you gotta remember, this is right after the whole Jay-Z and Nas beef and everything like that too. And we all know Jay said he was not gonna really rap as long and stuff like that too. But him saying this final album as a final album, if this was supposed to be a final album and whatnot, I would find it a bit underwhelming. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like it's a very, very, very great work. It's way better than Blueprint 2. Let's just keep it real like that. Let's just keep it real. Way better than Blueprint 2. But one the thing that really kind of irritated me was the inconsistency with the production and shit like that. And I'm gonna say this: as good of a song as you have with "What More Can I Say," there's always a bad song with "Dirt Off Your Shoulder." And I know a lot of cats love "Dirt Off Your Shoulder." I know Try, you love that song. That's one of my least favorite Timbaland beats. Like, dee, 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 dee. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, it sounds like some fucking Fast and Furious commercial promo. Like, what? And then, I'm sorry, I don't like Moment of Clarity. I don't like the beat to that one. I never liked that Eminem beat. I never liked Justify My Thug. Don't even get me started with that one.
Crazy, man.
Don't even get me started with that one. The worst DJ Quick beat in the history. The worst. And to me, the only DJ Quick beat I never actually liked up to this day.
Wow.
And that's saying something. But let me see the good, because you asked myself, why do you have this in number 2? Because this is probably Jay-Z's most quoted album. So many rappers bit lines from this album and tried to use it on their own. And I feel like impact-wise in 2003, this album definitely was a landmark and everything like that too. Like, I love Change Clothes.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, a Neptune's beat I love with Jay-Z. Wow. I love What More Can I Say is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal or whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? He was just going after anybody. But I would have, if it was me, dare I say, I would have started it off with Public Service Announcement.
Okay.
I would definitely start it off because I didn't really care for December 4th like that. I'm gonna be real.
Right.
It's like I didn't care for December 4th. I definitely did not like My First Song. Like, what the fuck was that? Like, Sean Carter was born. Like, I'm just like, and the beat was just like one of those weird celebratory kind of beats, and it's just I don't know what he was trying to do with that song though. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But and we can't talk about this album without talking about 99 Problems,
of course,
which is to me one of the illest Jay songs, period. You know what I'm saying? And this album was so influential that niggas did remixes to this album to this day. Like, we all know the great album from Danger Mouse, which, I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. I bumped the great album as much as the Black Album with the Beatles sample and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? And that's bold as fuck. When Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr approve your shit.
Yeah.
This was the same group. This was the same group that even MF Doom had some sample issues with when he started using sample from them and shit. But wow, man, I mean, we have to talk about the Danger Mouse great album.
For sure.
You know, we got probably when if I ever do a re-review on the Black Album, I'll definitely mention that too. But yeah, Black Album, that's my number 2.
All right, number 2 for me is Dipset, Diplomatic Immunity, classic double review for this a couple years ago on my channel. It was great, and I always said Joel Santana made this album a classic. He shined on a lot of the tracks. You know, you had Cam on there and Jim and Freaky Zeke. You know, some collabs. You know, DMX was on that. What's Really Hood? Rest in peace to him. That was a dope track. And you have Freeway on he did a track with Jewels on there, and you know, LRL was still locked up, but he did like a freestyle from prison. You know, and it was great. That's a great album. I really mean it. And Dipset Anthem, I'm Ready. So many bangs on there. Classic.
I agree. I think at this one we know the number 1. I'm just gonna say it together. Get Rich or Die Trying.
That is number 1.
I mean, is it obvious?
It's
Is it
not.
really really obvious? This is pretty much the most impactful hip hop album of the 2000s, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Oh yeah.
This album was what solidified 50 Cent from street rapper to mogul force in this album. This solidified the three-headed monster, Dre, Eminem, and 50. I mean, boo DJ Khaled for saying this album is not a classic. 'Cause I remember that Rap City episode
Mm-hmm.
and shit like that. He said that it's not a classic album and stuff like that. And 50 got in his ass at one point. But
Yep.
this was when he was beefing with Fat Joe. But yeah, man, I mean, we all know the story 50 Cent. You know, he was supposed to came out with Power for $1.99, but then he got shot and everything like that. And Columbia shelved that album. He started doing mixtapes. I mean, it's a dope story, you know. Eminem heard, I want to say the 50 Cent's The Future mixtape. I want to say he heard that one and stuff. And that's when he wanted to get in contact and sign him a contract. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's talk about the bangers, like Patiently Waiting.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, an Eminem beat I love. One of my favorite Eminem beats too. You know what I'm saying? In the Club, classic track. Many Men Wish Death. The song 50 Cent hates, but that's actually my favorite song on the album. You know what I'm saying? But 50 did do some weird voodoo shit because as much as he got out Ja Rule for singing and doing love songs, what was 21 Questions though?
Exactly.
Yeah, man. But this is still like a very, very, very great album. Is it my favorite 50 Cent album? Dare I say, yeah, it's actually my favorite 50 Cent album. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. And I feel like to this day, many rappers really like look at this as like their Illmatic growing up. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Facts.
No, actually, I'm sorry. It was a Guess Who's Back mixtape, not the 50 Cent is the Future. But they look at it as like, because the influence this album brought to the game just speaks a lot.
It was crazy. Yep. That's it.
Aren't you want to say what you got to say?
Classic. Classic 50.
Definitely. All right. I do have a few honorable mentions, though.
Okay.
The first honorable mention is MF Doom's Wonderful Villain. Now, this was very close to making my list. And I'm actually surprised it didn't really make my list, though. But I do feel like it was a very great album from MF Doom. Very, like, orchestral, very dark. Probably like his most darkest album, if you ask me. Um, I'm also going to mention Brother Ali's Shadows of the Sun album. Now, I'm not really the biggest Brother Ali fan, and I will be lying if I say I'm an expert on his music. But I did hear a few tracks on this album and stuff like that too. I definitely like this album. Brother Ali definitely has a very different style, and I definitely have to get into his music one day. And my last honorable mention is G Unit's Beg for Mercy, which again, actually, no, I have another honorable mention after this, which again, you know, 50 Cent, you know, the force that he is and whatnot. And then I'm also going to say Little Brothers, The Listening is an honorable mention as well, too. You know what I'm saying? This is another one that was close to my making my list, but want to actually throw in some different variety here and there.
Great. I got some honorable mention. Both MF Doom albums were great. Vaudevillain I like more than Taking to Your Leader. You know, Victor Villain, that was great. Great album. You know, KRS One, Chris Styles. I actually like that album. That was a good. Yeah, he had some joints where I felt like he was trying to do radio shit, but the majority of the songs on there were fire. He gave us that KRS One style that people love. Um, Bubba Sparks, Deliverance. That was a good album as well. Should have been promoted more, but you had the production mostly by Timberland on that album. It was dope. Organized Noise did like 2 or 3 tracks. Little Kim, La Bella Mafia, great comeback album. Our second album was trash. Never liked it. I think she came back hard with Bella Mafia. DMX Grand Champ, pretty good album. You
Mm.
know, I felt like even with that album, it could have been promoted more. But he had some joints. The Rain was one of my favorites. Get It on the Floor. My Life with Chinky. Like he had some joints on that album. I definitely enjoyed that one. J Lib, classic album with Madlib and Jay Dilla, Champion Sound. Love that album. That was great. Black Eyed Peas, Ella Funk. Really enjoyed that one as well. You know, they had the joints Rock My Shit and Where's the Love and the Apple song and Ella Funk. Ella Funk was dope. You know, that's about it. I mean, there's so many others that came out. Killer Mike had a good album.
Right.
That came out, like you mentioned, the Jedi Mind Tricks. They came out with that album. It was Visions of Gandhi.
Yeah.
That was fire. Obi Trice, Cheers. That was a good album as well. But yeah, those are like my honorable mentions.
Dope list.
Yeah.
Dope list. All right, so I'm gonna end this off right here. I gotta do some deliveries before it gets too dark. But yep, y'all. This has been a very great episode and whatnot. I'm gonna take a few weeks off just to get some shit together. I do have some pre-recorded videos I'm dropping just to let y'all know, just to get some stuff out, clearing my storage and stuff like that on my computer. So, anything you want to say before we head out?
Tomorrow I'm going live at 8 with the homie Ant Champ Tyson. We're gonna talk about no, not tomorrow. Thursday actually. Thursday the 20th. I'm going live at 8 with Champ, and he's gonna give his thoughts on Bobby Brown, Don't Be Cruel, and New Edition, Any Heartbreak album, and we'll talk some Any Heartbreak and Bobby solo shit and some Knicks basketball.
Dope. All right, shout out to Ant, by the way. All right.
Yep.
I'll definitely see y'all in a couple of weeks. Y'all be
All right.
safe. Peace.
Peace.